So we had an interruption, so I'll just keep going with the second video. So we're on our geometric solids. We're going to use our references from our photos. So I'm going to look and see where the light source is and then where it's a little darker. I like to shade with the contours. So on this part which angles back, I would shade in that direction to give it a sense of depth rather than using a straight vertical line like I did on the practice. On this side, I might use the straight vertical lines, or I could have gone this way instead to create my shadow on that darkest side. And you can go over this as many times as you need to convey the value. So if you feel like that side's going to be like, maybe it's an object that's black, you might go over it several times to make that value nice and dark. If it's a light gray, it might be a medium gray on the shadow side. On your sphere, you could use maybe a flat line, horizontal line, so that looks flat, and then on this side you might go either up and down to do the value. It's probably easiest to get that gradual transition to make it look tubular. Or you could shade with the contours, but you want to pick one of those directions in order to do it. Now on this sample, this is a really light object here because I haven't gone over it. On this one, maybe this is an object that's a little bit darker in value. Maybe it's like a black, or maybe it's a dark gray, or maybe it's like a blue rather than a yellow. And so I've gone over that a little bit darker so that it looks more, has a little bit richer values. But it all depends on what your reference is. For this cross-hatching part, what you're going to do is you're going to go different directions and you're going to layer it the same way that you did with your hatching, but you're going to go across and up and down and then on different diagonals. If you remember from our exercise, I find that this technique is a little bit easier for like caricature. It makes things look a little bit more cartoonish, but a lot of people like to do this to create more richer values and make it have like a little bit more form. So feel free to start in a single direction. Maybe this one I'll just start with a horizontal and then go all the way across using just a horizontal. And you can also let these get closer together and overlap them to let these get darker as well. I'm going kind of fast, and I'd like you guys to take a little bit more time to make it look a little bit smoother, but I want to make this video a little bit shorter. Okay. So then I'd go across. Now when I go across, I'm going to do the same sort of technique like this, but I have gradual transitions. I'm going to make sure that these lines are not all the same length to do that. So notice that in this kind of little illustration that I just did, every other line is a little bit longer and the other ones are a little shorter. That way I can get some gradual transitions in value. And I can kind of go back and forth here and add some that are a little bit longer, some that are a little bit shorter. Then I can do like a diagonal. And this is a little bit raw right now, it's a little unfinished, but I get it and keep layering in those horizontal and vertical elements until it looks more 3D. Okay, so let's see, I want this to look a little bit more gradual. So I'm going to maybe shorten these lines more horizontal here. And then here it was the diagonals again. So here I'm going to layer a little bit more. I'm going to use the diagonals all the way to the end. So whatever you do, go all the way to the end. I can always repeat and do more and more and more.